Hello everyone, it's Adam Sheard here again from the Language Arts Institute. Now today we're going to go on to our second part of our pronunciation bootcamp. Last time we talked about some of the stops. We talked about p, b, t, d, k, and g. Today we're going to go to some of the sounds called fricative consonants. Now, like we mentioned last time, it's really good if you bring a mirror to your pronunciation practice. So I have a kind of a cute little mirror here. You can see the mirror. And the mirror helps me look into my mouth and see what's happening inside of here. So what kind of shapes my tongue is making, where my tongue is, where my lips are. All of these things are very important when you are learning pronunciation. So let's move on to the fricatives here. Now, you see the fricatives also have voiceless and voiced, like we talked about last time. So voiceless means that when you say them, air comes out. You have an airflow at your mouth. Like I said with the tissue, you say, for example, the first sound here makes that voiceless sound, which is with that airflow. The second one, we have the voiced. And we know it's voiced because if you put your hand right here, you can feel the vibration. Okay? So, let's talk a little bit about these sounds, starting with okay, so repeat after me. Now, when we do this,
Fa.
Look at the diagram here, and you can notice that what happens is the bottom lip comes up to the bottom of your front teeth here. So you see here again,
Fa.
fa. You look very closely, the bottom lip, once again, to the teeth. Fa. All right, one more time. Fa. Now this is a very common consonant in the English language. We use the F word quite often, as some of you might know. Let's practice with some of the vocabulary we have here. So repeat after me. Food. Good. One more time. Food. Okay. Now the next one. Lifeboat. Lifeboat. Okay. And repeat one more time. Lifeboat. Good. And the last one. Thief. And repeat again. Thief. Okay. Now, as we move into the V sound, you'll notice that the V sound is pronounced in the same place as the F sound. So the difference is that the V has the vibration in your throat. So, like to put your hand here and try to feel the vibration as you say this. Once again, the bottom lip against the bottom of your teeth, right? Okay, try it one more time. Okay, now remember, when you're trying to make this sound, think of it kind of like in a musical sense, like you're humming. When you hum, you create that vibration. Same way. Create that vibration. Okay, now some of the words that we're going to use today. Let's repeat after me. Voice. Very good. One more time. Voice. Good. Next. Waver. And again. Waver. Good. And the last one. Above. Good. And above. Now, I'm sure you know these are pretty common words, especially above we use quite often. Like, look, there are books above me. Okay, now moving on to the next sound. We have the sound. Now, as you see in the diagram here, we have a very interesting position with our tongue. You see how the tongue comes up to behind our front teeth. So the last sound was right underneath the front teeth. This one, our tongue is coming up. We're going. Our tongue is going right behind our front teeth. So, for example, when we do this one, I want you to imagine that you're really holding back some pressure in your mouth, right? Because if you release this, it comes out, right? So imagine you're going to build up a little bit of pressure. So repeat after me. And again, one more time. Okay. Now let's practice these words. The first one. Thing. So you see how the pressure, we released it. Build up the pressure and then release. One more time. Thing. Very good. Okay, then on the next one. Toothbrush. That's a hard one, isn't it? Let's try it again. Toothbrush. Okay. And the last one. With. With. I think we should try that one more time just to make sure we got it. It's an important word. Try it with me. Ready? With. Okay. Now, to the next sound, we're going to go onto the th sound. So once again, we're going to be making a voice sound, making it with vibrations. So repeat after me. Good, again. Got that? Okay, let's try these vocabulary. That. Good. Again. That. See how we have our voiced th sound followed by the voiceless t sound. The next one. Wither. Good. One more time. Wither. Excellent. Okay. And the last one. Smooth. Again. Smooth. Wonderful. Okay, now let's move on to a very common sound in a lot of different languages, which is the s sound. So the s sound, we can see, we look at the graphic. Here, we're moving a little bit further back in the mouth now. So we say s, s. Our tongue is not going to be right underneath the teeth. It's not right behind the teeth. It's a little bit behind that. So if you look into your mirror, I'll look into my mirror here, and I'll look. I can see that my tongue is just a little bit further back than it was when we did the th and th sound. Okay? So let's try this together. Ready? Good. Notice how my mouth is a little bit wide here. You can clearly see where my tongue is when I say this. Very good. Sounds like you got it. Okay. Let's practice some of the vocabulary for this sound. First one. Soap. Good. Again. Soap. Excellent. On to the next one. Assume. Good. Okay, again. Assume. Wonderful. Okay, and on to our last vocabulary. Miss. Good. Again. Miss. When I was learning Korean for the first time, one of the first things that I learned in the first Korean dialogue had a person. Her name was Miss Lee. But in the Korean writing, it was written as Misuri. So I was looking in the dictionary for so long trying to find out what on earth does Misuri mean. And then I found out it was 2 words, of course. In any case, so miss, yes, another common word in the English language. Now, let's go on to a sound which does pose some problems for a lot of ESL speakers, which is the z sound. So once again, this is easy to remember because it's in the same position as the s sound. As we can see, it's the same place. However, you notice in the back here that we have more nasal or more vibration that's added to this, of course, because it is a voiced consonant. So once again, taking a look at it. Zzz. Good. You should learn this because this is the sound that the honeybee makes, right? They go bzzz. So repeat after me. Ready? Zzz. Excellent. Now let's move on to some of the vocabulary. So we have the first one here. Zipper. Good. Again. Zipper. Right? Good. Like the one that we have on our jackets. You know, people have a zipper that goes up and down on your jacket. Okay. Next one. Buzzer. Very good. And again. Buzzer. Okay, like a buzzer, sometimes at the front of a house, they have a buzzer. You dial in someone's number, or a long time ago, when I was young, in apartments, you pressed a button and it went bzzz, and then the person upstairs would answer the phone and press a button, and it would let you into the building. All right, so the last one, nose. Very good. Again, nose. Now this one's interesting because the way that it's spelled and the way that it sounds is very different. Well, in English, that happens a lot, and it's very confusing, I understand. But you just need to practice and learn it and memorize it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of other things in different languages that are similar to this, but English, I know, is particularly difficult. So try your best. Okay, on to the next sound. Now we have the sh sound. You hear this sound quite often when you go to the library. People say, shh, be quiet, right? Especially me, because I usually talk a lot in the library. Now this one, if we look closely, it looks almost like it's the same position as the s and the z sound. However, if we look very closely here, we notice that is not true. Let's look at the S, the S. See the S sound. We have, look at the position of the teeth, the lips. Notice how the lips are going up, the tongue is coming forward. And that's creating the S sound. But when we go down to the sh sound, you notice that there's a lot more of the lips closing here. So we say s, when we say shh. The position of the mouth is completely different. The way that the mouth is shaped, the amount your mouth is open. So in this one, we notice the mouth is closed a lot more. That the mouth, in this case, is a little bit more rounded. If I look in the mirror, I can see clearly when I say s, I have a very wide mouth. But when I say shh, a very circular shape of your mouth. So when you're looking in your mirror, make sure that you can see that and check to make sure that your lips are in the right position. Also, when you're watching me, please make sure that you're copying the shape of my lips, my teeth, and how wide it is, how high and how closed it is. It's very important. Okay, so let's practice some of these vocabulary, starting with the first one. Shoe. Good, again. shoe, right? So the shoe here is something we wear on our feet, right? The shoe. Next one. Fishing. Good. One more time. Fishing. Wonderful. And the last one. Wish. Very good. And again. Wish. And wish, of course, is to ask for something you really want, or to really want something, to wish for something. And I wish that all of you can learn English very well and improve your pronunciation a lot by watching these videos. All right, now let's move on to the next sound, which is the zh sound. And this is a very hard sound. I know, especially for some of my Korean friends, Japanese friends. Of course, in Japanese and Korean, they do have a j sound, but this one is very specific because it is voiced. It's not j, it's zh. Okay, so let's take a look at where the mouth is. Notice here how the tongue is even further back than some of the previous sounds. We say zh. Our tongue almost comes right up here to what we call the alveolar ridge. And you also notice when we say zh, your mouth is in a circle. It's a circular shaped. And it's not very wide open. We say zh. It's not oh, it's zh. It's a much smaller shape. And once again, it's voiced using a little bit of that nasal sound, the vibration, to make that sound. So repeat after me. Zh. Yeah, I know this is a hard one. Let's try again. Zh. Good. Let's take a look at our vocabulary. So the first one here, vision. It's a hard one, and the v and j sound. Once again, vision. Wonderful. All right, and the next one, beige. Wonderful, good. And one more time, beige. Excellent. Now, beige, of course, is a kind of color, a little bit of a off-white color. I'm not sure if you can see this very well, but this newspaper used to be white, and now it is beige. That kind of color. All right. And finally, our last consonant, fricative sound of the day. And this is an interesting one, a very interesting one, because it's in a lot of languages, but it's very different in the way that it's pronounced depending on the language. Let's start with looking at the graphic.
Ha.
And you see here, our mouth is in resting position. We're not doing anything special. We're not moving our lips in a special way. It's just natural position. Natural. Ready? Ha. This is like what you do when you laugh. Like ha 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 ha, right? One more time. Ha. Now, this sound of the sound it's quite interesting because, for example, in some languages, they mix the sounds. For example, I'm sure you've heard about how some people pronounce, for example, the word herb, H-E-R-B. Some people pronounce it herb, and some people pronounce it herb, right? But one thing I've noticed a lot, especially with French speakers, so if you're a French speaker, you might relate to this. For French speakers, when there's an H in front of the word, they do not pronounce the H, right? So if there's a hat that you wear on your head, a French speaker would say an at. And if they have a sound with no H, they often add an H. So instead of saying, well, for example, and, like me and you, they would say hand. So me, hand, you, right? So this is something we want to be careful of. So if you know the pronunciation, be careful that you're pronouncing it in the right place, okay? So let's go to our last two vocabulary here. Ready? Happy. Again. Happy. Great. And the second one, greyhound. Good. One more time. Greyhound. Okay. So make sure you practice these. The link of our last video for the consonant stops is linked right in front of me here. Make sure that when you practice that you bring your mirror, right? Bring the mirror and look in the mirror to make sure you're making the right shapes with your mouth, with your tongue. And please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. And if you have any questions, even if it's not about pronunciation, perhaps another English question, please post that in the comments and I will try to answer as many as I can. And pretty soon, tomorrow actually, I'll be uploading a new video on the English of James Bond, which is going to be exciting because you get to learn about all the cool vocabulary they use in the spy world, and also, since it's James Bond Casino Royale, you get to learn about some gambling and casino vocabulary too. All right, that's about all we have time for today. Thank you very much for coming. Once again, I'm Adam Sheard from the Language Arts Institute. Have a great day.